This is a weird point of synchronicity, so I'm just going to record it and move on. This is Matthew Brown. He posted a review of Disclosure Day, and in that he included a quote from The Lord of Chaos by Robert Jordan. It's a book series about the dangers of teaching men magic, and I am going to be teaching men magic, which is weird, but it's not as weird as this. It's just a weird coincidence that at the same time Matthew was doing that, I was working on the newest episode of Undeniable, how I prove that I am one of the world's greatest psychics, and why I am the one qualified to teach men magic. And in this video, I randomly pick up the Lord of Chaos and use it as a tool. Just weird, man. Matthew is the incredibly attractive young man who brought us the Immaculate Constellation document. Matthew famously said, "God is real." And I think people forget how God works. God can speak through any of us. That's what the message is. Each person can connect to God, which means God can use each person to change.
This week in our series of reports on UFOs, we learned a number of things.
To be honest, this is so much bigger than my concern is.
Systemic racism. It's a term I know you've been hearing a ton about over the past couple of months, but not everyone knows what it means.
That our government has lied about UFO information, that it's withheld UFO files.
This is systematic oppression.
But not everybody who sees a UFO is crazy.
Have you ever worried you were crazy? I did. And for a while, I was.
It was crystal clear proof. God is not only listening, but God is actively guiding us.
I'm watching this movie and it's like it's mirroring my life right now.
I'm not on drugs. I'm working today.
I was admitted to a psychiatric hospital. The doctors there firmly believed that I needed to stay for a long time.
A new study is shedding light on some of the long-term effects of COVID-19, including an increased risk of mental illness and brain disease.
But I was also being gaslit.
It prohibits the respectful workplace policy also prohibits any form of retaliation, threat, or reprisal for raising concerns under the policy or for participating in the WDHP. So you will not be disciplined for participating in WDHP, and you should not be treated any differently.
But you just said I could be fired if I say the wrong words.
That's not. I did not use those words.
I
said a breach of confidentiality is covered under the respectful workplace policy and will be taken seriously and addressed by management.
Which the translation is, if I say the wrong thing, I could be fired. That's what it means.
If you say the wrong, that's not what that is.
And I was suspended because I raised my experience with anti-Black racism.
Is working hard to remove the social and economic barriers that racialized communities continue to face.
What it is saying is if you breach the confidentiality of the investigation, could be subject to discipline. Potentially. It's not a hard and fast rule. And I also was very upset to see you concerned about being terminated and you're sharing your concerns about your laptop not working and thinking that meant you were terminated. That's not how things would work. That's not, You wouldn't be terminated without notice. That's not a concern that I want you to have at this
I have
time.
that concern. So when I told Christy I want to go public, on Friday, I walked in and said, hey, I'm thinking that the public needs to know about this. She told me, do what you feel is best, Joe. That's what a manager told me. So you can see why I'm very confused now.
I didn't hear anything about going public until your email this morning.
I need you to understand the optics of this, because I think we're all just skipping over what this looks like. If anyone from the outside looks at this, I'm a very well-educated black man. I have a college degree, a university degree, I'm a business owner. I've published 6 books. And for some reason, this process for the province of Ontario is too difficult for me to figure out. That's a problem.
This has been very troubling for me.
Who in the government is supporting black people that are dealing with racism?
Many people, not all, don't feel that you have done enough to address the racism issue in this province.
I'll come down like a ton of bricks on them, because we have the most multicultural province jurisdiction anywhere, probably in North America.
You know, I was really interested in always about making things better, you know, whether it was, you know, I'm going to make the world better, I'm going to fight injustice.
But what I can say is, here's an email. Can someone please look at this email and say, is this a bad thing or not? This is bad. Maybe there should be an action taken.
But then the investigation, you know, interviews you, interviews the respondent, interviews witnesses, and makes a determination of whether it's substantiated.
What this is, I'm watching it play out before me. The system is actually oppressing me, making it hard for me to get my story out. Like, it shouldn't be this much work. No one in the government is helping me deal with racism. These are statements I'm saying, and unfortunately, I'm just not getting an answer about them. Like,
I may be wrong, but it certainly looks like I was just fired from a unionized government job because I spoke out about anti-black racism. It also looks like the union let it happen. Again. And it looks like when I tried to fight back, they threatened to have me investigated for stalking a child, using the police against a black queer writer as a hammer to silence him. But is that what really happened? And how can I know for sure? What if I had misinterpreted several years worth of emails and the videos I recorded and the numerous government memos stating that the problem was real and pervasive? What if all of the eyewitnesses were wrong? Now, it seemed like everyone knew it was happening.
Of course, there's systemic racism in Ontario. There's systemic racism across this country.
While simultaneously saying that it wasn't happening.
We don't have the systemic, deep roots they have had for years.
So which is it? And does truth matter in a world with fake news? Our memories are not as solid as we think they are.
We need to step back and ask ourselves whether those are real memories, or whether perhaps memory illusions have persuaded us of a past that never was.
The pictures in our head may not reflect reality. Memories and our sense of self can be altered by stressful events like racism and illness like long COVID. If our perceptions of who we are and what we have lived through can be fooled so easily, how do we know that our other beliefs are actually real? I used to believe my ex-husband loved me. Turns out he just didn't want to hurt my feelings. It was like a game of gay chicken that lasted 18 years. He was also convinced if he was honest about his emotions, his friends would hate him. Well, I lost all the friends in the divorce, so I guess you had nothing to worry about, Rob. I've also had long COVID since January of 2021. Now, I know some of you believe long COVID's not real. Some of you also believe birds aren't real. So, I don't know, read a book or something. But I also used to believe something truly incredible. I used to believe I was abducted by aliens. And if I could be wrong about that, could I be wrong about other things? Is the Earth really flat, despite thousands of years of scientific data and eyewitness testimony, including people who've seen it from space? But how do we know? When is a weather balloon just a weather balloon? And how would I ever be able to prove I was abducted by aliens, even if the only person I could prove it to was myself? If people tell us who they are and what they've been through, why don't we believe them? And if people we trust lie to us over and over and over again,
in many cases, I probably identify more as a Democrat.
Why do we keep believing them? How can you know if your experience is real or a delusion? The answer is simple, but boring. Science. My name is Joseph Murphy. Join me on a 3-part journey as we uncover what the latest scientific discoveries reveal about memory and identity, and how external forces like gaslighting, chronic illness, systematic oppression can affect your sense of who you are and what you are. How do you know who you really are? I'm not okay right now. I'm angry and I'm upset, and I have to record this moment because I am in danger. And I'm trying not to over-respond. But the union, OPSU, just called the police on me again because of a Facebook post. And the police called and said, what you have been doing is not criminal, but if you keep it up, it could be considered criminal harassment. That's bullshit. They also said that I was committing slander, which is bullshit, because again, I did a video recently about what slander is. I know what slander is, and I'm not slandering anyone. What I'm doing is pointing out that there is a problem inside the province of Ontario. OPSU is supposed to protect black workers, but it does not at all. I live in Windsor, where Nancy Gruel was recently killed. And that's what they're using against me. The police officer said, don't show up at her house. They are comparing my Facebook post to what was done to Nancy Gruel. They are trying to use that against me to silence me. And I'm saying, Aaron, come in closer. Fuck you. I'm going to keep talking about what you've done, Aaron, because what you have done is wrong. What the union did was wrong, and I'm allowed to talk about that. And if you don't like it, fix it. You're not going to fix it by continuing to use the police as a harassment tool. I would like to say that this is unexpected, and in a way it is. I thought that they would move past using the police as a weapon, but it's all these jokers know how to do. And it's wasting police resources that should be going on actual crimes. So I'm not going to let this stop me. Erin said that she was worried I was going to show up at her house and attack her. That's what Erin said about me. That there, Erin, that's slander. Because you know that's not fucking true at all. And you did that, you said that, Erin, as a way to defame me. That is slander. Me saying that you did not do your job properly is not slander. And I'm not stopping. This message is for Miranda. Here's the meeting on December the 6th. It's recorded. Everyone can see what I say and what I do. In this meeting, I am set up. And it's super clear. Like anyone that looks at the meeting will tell I was set up. There's a meeting. It lasts for maybe a few minutes. The screen goes blank. Now, I'm upset because the person I've been working with for months isn't there. Like, my support person is not there. I ask for a delay, and they say, no, we can't delay at all. This has to be done right now. I ask, can we wait 20 minutes? They said, no. Then the meeting ends. I talk to my ex-husband. I work on my computer. Time passes. Then I go on Facebook. And I do a Facebook Live. As I'm doing my Facebook Live, you'll hear the voices come in and say, Joe, what are you doing? I can't believe you're recording us. And that is bullshit. Literally, they're just trying to set me up, and I caught them doing it. But it gets even worse. Because in this video, on December the 6th, after everyone else is left, on the Facebook Live, I talk about how do we fight the system. And I say that violence is not the answer. Violence is never the answer. That's what I say. And I also say we need a new weapon. Let's look at Buffy. Buffy gives her sister Dawn a weapon, a cell phone, and we need to record everything. That's what I talk about. But Rachel pulls a magic trick. Rachel says she is concerned because I said the word weapon, that I'm going to track her down and kill her and her child. That's what Rachel said. And that sounds unbelievable, but I have the email to show that. And Cordelia believed that bullshit. I don't think anyone else will. I think anyone else that watches this video and hears me talk about Buffy giving Dawn a cell phone, and that's how we're going to fight the system. No one is going to interpret that as me leaving the house, getting a gun, and what are you people are fucking insane. I can't believe you fell for this bullshit. But you, Miranda, got a job promotion. Let me give you another message, Miranda. I'm working on a new podcast called Undeniable. It's about how I realized that I truly am one of the world's greatest psychics. For real. You gave me a psychic reading, Miranda, saying that I was heavily protected by ancestors on the other side. And you were more right than you knew. The ancestors have chosen me to help end all of this bullshit that you are a part of. Episode 3 includes the meeting from May 25th of 2022. With lots and lots of extra added, I've edited it so that all the evidence is included in the video as well. All the emails and the letters to show what was actually happening. And it proves they're not going to do anything to make the system better. They don't want to. And right now, Miranda, you are the problem. Because you could fix this, Miranda. You could. You have the power and authority. You could have stopped this. And you didn't. Instead, you got a promotion. And as I said before, start working on your resume. Because I am very, very good at predicting the future. But don't take my word for it. Review the evidence, and it will be undeniable. That's wonderful. None of that took. Anyway, I'll try that again. I'm going through something right now and I want to record it while it's fresh so that I can record it. For the last couple of hours, anytime I hear a car door, I get up. Like, is that them? Is it the police? Are they coming to take me away? I have been made to feel unsafe in my home because there are bullies inside the government that are trying to hide evidence. I'm talking about corruption, and they have the fucking gall to send the police after me for talking about racism. The effect that has on me is, logically, I know I'm fine. I haven't fucking done anything. I'm allowed to do the shit that I'm doing. It's all legally allowed. And again, I told them in 2000, say that differently, Joe, it's the wrong number. In December of 2020, the government said, yes, it looks like you're dealing with racism. They didn't do a fucking thing about it. Except for fire me and pay for people to monitor my social media and harass me for years. And because I think if I had had a different relationship with police officers my entire life, I would probably have a different response to this. What I'm watching is police officers are being used as butlers. That's what it is. I don't like this, I'm gonna call the police. Instead of doing a mature thing, just block. Like, I sent a text message to an old friend and she could have blocked me. Instead, she called the police and said that she felt I was harassing her. It's childish bullshit. Our entire legal system right now is childish bullshit of, like, fill out this form and fill out that form and try not to perform. I am. What I'm experiencing right now is I don't feel safe in my house because these fucking assholes are using the police to threaten me. Go turn yourself in, Joseph. We're afraid because of your... Get the fuck out of here with your fucking bullshit. No rational person is going to get a text message that's saying, stop lying, God loves you, and think, oh my God, I need to call the police. That's pure over-policing. Michael is worried. Again, he doesn't want to see me go to jail because I'm speaking about racism. This is fucking bullshit. And I guess maybe that's the problem. I have not been angry enough. I have been tolerant. But now I don't feel safe in my home because these fuckers are trying to play their games. So what I'm going to do is double down. They really messed with the wrong person. What I'm going to do is get into politics. Because if I can't fix it within the system, I will become a politician. I will run for office, and then I will fix it that way. I am not going to sit by and just let this bullshit. I am not going to sit by and let bored bullies pull this kind of bullshit just because they can't admit they made a mistake. It's ridiculous. It's against the law, and I won't tolerate it. But I will report it. I will write the book. I told them about. I think what the law says is they've got about a year from the time I tell them before they can put an injunction in at some point. But I told them in 2021 they've taken no action because they know they can't. If there was something they could legally do, they would do it. All they can do is try to waste police resources and scare me. It's a magic trick, and I need to see through it. And I'm going to cast a spell back at them saying, You messed with the wrong motherfucker. I can swear now. What is a psychic attack? When people hear the phrase, they assume it's Professor Xavier or voodoo. And while those are possible, it is not the most common form of psychic attack. So what is a form of psychic attack? The word psychic comes from psyche. It literally means anything that attacks your mind, your spirit, or your soul. Let me say that differently. Anytime someone tries to scare you, that is a psychic attack. If someone is trying to bully you, psychic attack. If they are trying to convince you to do something that you don't want to do, psychic attack. A psychic attack is literally anytime someone tries to control your mind, manipulate the way you think, or damage your soul. This book is written by Diane Morgan. She was a studier of psychology and an occultist. Diane Morgan was harassed by a former employer because she wanted to release some secrets to the public that she believed the public needed to know, and that her employer did not want released. So her employer harassed her and psychically attacked her for years, and it nearly destroyed Diane Morgan. But Diane learned how to fight back, and she shared with the world how she fought back. I can relate. Every time you turn on your phone, someone is trying to scare you. There are images of war and hunger, chaos, and the visitors are coming. By 2027, it will be undeniable that non-humans are here and have been here all along. And some people are going to try to turn that into a weapon of fear. We need to learn how to control our fear now, because some people are using our fear to manipulate us. I'm going to record this, not sharing it. But I had a dream last night that was not a dream. It felt just like the other ones. I'm standing on a beach and I'm surrounded by hundreds of people. It looks like it's over the ocean because I don't see land on the other side, but there's a beach and there's people everywhere. There are drones in the sky, ships, and people are being placed on lifeboats. But the lifeboats are, they're little whirly things that take them up to a ship. So it's like people stand on, people are being led onto platforms when they stand on the platform and it takes them up into the sky. And I looked up and I saw that there was something in the sky spinning, that people were being taken up. And I remember thinking, why are they doing that? That's silly. They don't need to. Like, if they wanted to take people, they don't have to use ships to take us up there. And a being approached me. It was a being in I guess you would say it's one of the tall whites, wearing robes and long white hair. It feels like it was an angel. It's the same entities that I saw many times, and they are telling me to get on the ship. And I look at the woman that's approaching me, and I look over. So there's a woman that's approaching me this way, and she's telling me to get on the ship, and I look over, and there's another being over there helping people get on the ship. No, the other woman I think is the goddess. I look over and there's another being there. She's not putting people on the ship, she's just standing there. So I look back to the first woman telling me to get on the ship, and I just say, no, I'm not getting on your ship. And the entity looks confused, like, what? She looks confused that I'm fighting back, because I can see that they're trying to manipulate my mind to get on the ship, and I'm saying no. Recording this today, February the 5th, I guess it's the 16th, I guess. It's the day after Valentine's Day, whatever. And I saw this on Reddit. It's about the whistle blower from 4chan who talked about the underwater base that is similar to the dreams and stuff that I had done. Anyway, so the whistleblower that talked about the underwater base near Cuba that's similar to the dreams I had. And I saw this. That right there is the vehicle I saw in the dream I had on the beach. The one that was loading things up into... Anyway, brain not working. I recorded a dream I had about being on a beach and seeing lots of people being loaded onto ships. That is included in the documentary Unbelievable, and that is what the ship looked like in my dream. So I'm just recording that as a point of data.